to welcome everybody. I'd like to introduce you to my team. So in case you haven't met, our program manager, interim program manager is Tally Kane. Tally, if you'd like to say hi. You want to say something? Say hi.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tally. I am the interim program manager. I think I recognize some names from some emails, so it's really nice to see you all and put some faces to some names. Thank you for
Great.
joining us.
Yeah, thanks. And Katie West is our program coordinator. Katie, do you want to say something?
Hello, nice to meet you all. Welcome to the Northeast Kickoff.
Yeah, we're super excited. So we are focused on combating climate change, growing the green economy, and improving environmental justice through innovation and entrepreneurship. Today, we'll start with an introduction to Cleantech Open. You'll hear from a sponsor, a mentor, and an alumni entrepreneur. Then all emerging cleantech startups who are here, who are considering applying to the Cleantech Open, are invited to give a 1-minute pitch. If you're interested in pitching, please comment in the chat. We're asking you to give us your name, your company name, your location, and your email. Tally will be in charge of keeping a list, and she'll call your name when it's time for you to pitch. And when it is time for you to pitch, please use your own timer so that we can make sure that you keep to a minute, and we will do the same. So without further ado, I am going to go right into my slide share here. So give me one moment while I turn this on, and hopefully that will go on momentarily. There you go. So Cleantech Open is a national program with multiple regions. It's the oldest and largest accelerator for clean tech startups. We empower entrepreneurs through our program that is it's like a mini MBA. So, so this year we expect 40 to 50 startups in the Northeast and about 100 nationwide. In the Northeast, we're run by an organization called NECEC, which is the Northeast Clean Energy Council. NECEC works on clean energy policy, market development, and innovation to make this region the best place to do business in our sector. So you can think of NECEC as like a green carpet for clean tech startups and so much more. So I wanted to say, as a nonprofit, we don't take equity in the startups that go through the program. We are very grateful to our sponsors who help to subsidize it. And they also offer many, many benefits to our startups. You'll get to know them as we progress through the accelerator. And I do want to point out, this is our sponsor shield for the Northeast. So at a regional level, so Massachusetts Clean Energy Center, otherwise known as MassCEC, and NYSERDA are our main sponsors. You'll also see the Amy Batchelor and Brad Feld Anchor Point Foundation, the Canadian Consulate in New York, Foley Hoag, which is a law firm based in Boston, Kohler, you may have heard of. They make bathroom fixtures and generators. The Sire Foundation, which is sponsoring a carbon sequestration prize this year, and Sunstein, which is a law firm that specializes in IP. Our other key sponsors here are Chubb Insurance, Constellation Energy, which has an energy focus, and you'll hear from Constellation later, and Schneider Electric, whom I'm sure many of you have heard of. We have many other organizations who work with us as well. And I wanted to make sure you are aware of our in-kind sponsors. So these are organizations that offer over $300,000 worth of goods and services to the startups in our cohort here in the Northeast. These include incubator and co-working spaces, consulting services ranging from marketing and communications to accounting to assistance on special projects, software packages for startups, and even financial assistance for startups participating in certain states. So a requirement of, whoops, sorry about that. A requirement of our startups is that all of them must have a solution with an environmental or a clean tech or a sustainability benefit. We typically have a good distribution of startups across all of these categories. So you can see, typically people think of clean tech on the left side, the typical things of energy generation, distribution, storage, efficiency, but we also work in many other areas. And recently there have been some very creative solutions coming our way and proceeding through the program. So what do? We offer all of our startups access to an online curriculum and to many events that we run. These include an academy, which is what we call our boot camp that kicks off the accelerator. This year, that will be a 3-day program, and it will span over 3 days. This is an opportunity to be exposed to all of the key topics that we cover throughout the accelerator and to meet many of the key players. We'll also hold workshops for more personalized coaching and lots of business clinics with specialty topics. Everyone says that the best part is the mentoring. We have hundreds of dedicated and experienced mentors, and in the Northeast, we're able to match as many as 4 mentors per startup. Mentors guide the startups through the curriculum, and in many cases, they stay in touch with the startups after the program has completed. They are all volunteers, and they all love doing this. It's a very rewarding exercise. We host an Investor Connect. This is on the left side, access to capital, at the end of the accelerator. This is an opportunity for our startups to meet various types of investors. So those could be angels, VCs, impact investors, corporations, and even family offices. We also host showcases so that our startups can introduce themselves to the general public. And last year we had a showcase specifically for investors, and that was very popular on both sides. At the end of the program in the Northeast, we have a pitch competition, and this year we'll give away $50,000 in cash awards, as well as $300,000 in goods and services. So what is this all about? We offer 10 modules, and you can see the topics here. This is what we call our mini MBA. Each of the modules has a lot of information in it. There's an assignment, lots of questions, additional resources, and in some cases, information for the startups to fill out as a template for them to fill out for their deliverable. So here are the deliverables. So we start with customer discovery. So for anyone who has done an I-Core program, you're a little bit ahead of the game. That means that you will already have some of the work done, but we obviously expect people to continue customer discovery well beyond Cleantech Open. But we do begin the first deliverable is the business model canvas, and at the end you end up with all of these other materials that are the essential materials that you will need to run your business. So, not sure who here has seen this slide, but we are very proud of our impact statistics. Since 2005, when we began, it used to be called Ignite Clean Energy in the Boston area. It started at MIT in 2005. We have graduated since this graphic was created. We've graduated over 450 startups, and that's just in the Northeast. Nationwide, over 1,600. But the number I'd like to call your attention to is the 68%. 68% of our startup alumni are still in business. They're employing over 3,300 people. And we're also very proud of our diversity numbers. So since we started collecting data, we're able to share with you that in 2020, 63% of the startups who participated had either a woman founder or a person of color as a founder. And in 2020, we had our largest cohort ever, with 47 startups matched to 175 mentors. I'm also going to point out behind I think if I show you my little cursor here, so behind on the top right, you'll see the map. So this is our region. So it's Eastern Canada, Maine, and then south through Pennsylvania. Those are the 9 states plus Eastern Canada where we are focused. So what's new in 2021? A few things are new this year. So we aim to attract more diverse mentors and investors, as well as more diverse founders. We will also be training the cohort on the value of building a diverse team, as well as on how to build a culture of diversity, equity, and inclusion. In addition, we're introducing some new curriculum content around why and how to measure your greenhouse gas emissions reduction potential, which is essentially saying how to measure your footprint. So this will be a really helpful piece of the curriculum that will give our startups an advantage in a world where impact measurement is increasingly important to investors, as well as to partners, potential employees, and customers. One of our sponsors, Sire Foundation, is sponsoring a carbon sequestration prize this year for a company that completes the accelerator in the Northeast. So we're pretty excited about that. So if there are any carbon sequestration startups on the call, please speak up. Altogether, we will give away $50,000 in cash prizes and over $300,000 in goods and services in the Northeast, and then there will be additional prizes at the national level as well. So in terms of dates, want to make sure that you have all the key dates in mind. So if you are selected to participate in the 2021 Accelerator in the Northeast, you will be invited to these events. May 10th is when all of the startups will introduce themselves. May 11th and 13th are what we call our mentor mixers for mentors and startups to get a chance to meet. And just so you know, for startups who are wondering, how do we match startups and mentors, or maybe there's some mentors who are wondering that, the way that we do this is that we ask all of the mentors to answer a survey, and we ask all of the startups to answer a survey. Whenever there is a match, then we will do our best to make that match, but we also look for a variety of expertise for each team. And we try to match with people who are interested in working with each other, at least in terms of the category. So we will run our academy June 2nd through 4th, our business clinics June through September. We'll have 5 main business clinics, and then we'll have additional programming in between as well. And then September 28th and 29th are our regional finals. The 28th is a day when we'll have private judging, and then the 29th is a day for everybody to celebrate, and there will be public presentations and the awards. October 20th through 22nd is the Global Forum, and that's the big event of the year where the entire cohort from across the country comes together. All events are opportunities to learn and to build your network. So everyone always asks, how do we select the cohort? Well, we have panels of judges who read and evaluate applications. We look at your market, the solution, and the team. Are you solving an important problem? Does your solution address the need? And does it look as if it could work, or does it break the laws of physics? Does your team seem like it can do what you're proposing you can do? And most important, are you willing to learn and are you coachable? So, in case you're looking for a brochure or a link or something that may be missing, please check our media kit. You should find what you need there. There's information about a variety of things, including upcoming events, in case you want to share that with others. So, as a reminder, we are looking forward to hearing your pitch. Please tell Tally, if you haven't already, your name, your company name, your location, and your email. You can address her directly in the chat, or you can send it to everybody. And we will have a little People's Choice Award at the end with a small prize. So, little enticement there for everybody to think about how you're going to tell your story about your startup. So next up, I'm going to share 3 slides and then I'll turn it over to our speakers. So first up, we're going to hear from Sean Sinha of Constellation. He's representing Constellation, which is one of our longtime sponsors. And he will tell a little bit about Constellation as well as about his sponsorship and how Constellation works with startups. Then we will hear from Sheikh Drameh of National Grid, and he's one of our mentors, and he will tell you about his experience as a mentor. And then we will hear from Elise Strobek. Elise is the CEO of Aeroshield. Some of you may have heard of her. She is the 2019 Cleantech Open National Grand Prize winner, and she will, I'm sure, tell a great story. And then after all of these 3 are done, we'll have a few minutes of Q&A, and then we'll go right into the pitches. So hope that helps. So I am going to stop sharing, and I'm going to ask Sean to turn on your mic and your video and share your thoughts with us.
Absolutely. Can you guys hear me okay? Perfect.
Yes, thank
Beth,
you.
thank you so much for that introduction. And everyone, very nice to meet you all, and pleased to be here. So, like Beth said, so we are with, I'm Sean Sinha with Constellation Technology Ventures. We are Exelon Corporation's strategic venture investing arm. Focused on early stage investing, like any financial VC, alongside a strategic mandate, and really the focus area is around clean tech, power, mobility, and adjacent sectors. And in the past, we've been around as a fund for 10 years, and have 25 plus investments overall, and approximately 16 active investments at this point in time. So fairly active in the venture and clean tech ecosystem as a fund. And we've been a sponsor at Cleantech Open for several years now, as Beth pointed out. And overall, I must say this has been a very valuable and rich experience. Of course, helps us remain connected. To what I would say is the venture ecosystem in general, but also provides for a very strong, I would say, national platform that brings multiple other stakeholders together. Companies, investors, and various different kinds of investors. So it has been a rewarding sort of experience for us to be in partner with Cleantech Open, and sort of drive say a cohesive agenda for sustainability and investments into the clean tech space. And last point I'd touch upon, we are an early stage strategic venture. We evaluate deal flow as it comes through this channel and any other channel. So first and foremost, opportunities that fit our mandate. That's something we eagerly look for through this platform and this forum. But just beyond that, we also have a smaller impact investment fund called 2C2I. So anything valuable we see here, and reasonable overlap, happy to sort of direct folks there. And then in some instances where there is opportunity for, say meaningful commercial relationship within the firm from an energy company perspective. We're also always happy to sort of encourage that as and when they might happen. So overall, this has been a great experience, and Beth and team have been very open and with open doors. So I definitely feel that you guys would find it very valuable to be associated with the Cleantech Open here.
Thank you very much, Sean. And Sean participates in various aspects of the program. So thank you for everything that you do to make it interesting. Next up, I'm going to turn it over to Sheikh Drameh. Would you like to say a few words about mentoring?
Yes, sure. Thanks very much, Beth, for the opportunity. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sheikh Drameh, and I work for National Grid. So it's an investor-owned utility with operation both in the UK and the US. And in the US, we are operating in territories covering regions such as New York, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. And in my current role, so I'm a market development lead for the US commercial strategy and portfolio planning team, where I work closely with some of our verticals that have the remit basically within the regulated side of our business to help provide products that will help us transition toward a cleaner energy space. So these are the teams that are in charge of helping facilitating the interconnection of DER, increasing the penetration of EV through enabling more offering of EV charging station across the different territories that we serve, and also all those teams that are supporting and providing programs that support demand response. So I'm relatively new to Cetone. So last year was my first year as a mentor. It was really fantastic because I got the opportunity to be matched with a startup that has a really interesting technology that had some type of application in the utility space, right? So it was a great learning opportunity for me, given that I'm not someone with a technical background, but I had the more business strategic type of background, and I was able to also help them facilitate connection internally with some of our subject matter expert on utility line inspection, because that startup had a drone that could be leveraged and for application, in utility line inspection, right? And they were interested in learning also more about, what were some of the use cases and challenges and opportunities that they saw, that utilities could use, right, to better inform their market research, right, and development of their product. So I guess from a success standpoint, where it made the difference is that, by being connected with mentors who have such a diverse background, across different functions, when you're looking at it, whether it's business, finance, fundraising, marketing, and etc., and also from a technical aspect too, those would be maybe your specialist type of mentor. You get to really tap into a source kind of knowledge, but also a network that could help you really advance, right, in terms of some of the deliverables that you have within the your Cetone curriculum, or also when you're looking to make connection and learn more about what's done in the private side of the world, like I was able to do with that startup. So really excited that you guys are considering joining the Cleantech Open, and welcome to the family, because it's really a big family here.
Thank you very much, Sheikh. It's great to hear from you. And most exciting for me anyway is to see Elise Strobek, who has done really well through Cleantech Open and beyond. We'd love to hear what you're up to lately, Elise. So take it away.
Yeah, definitely. Always exciting to join for a Cleantech Open event. So I'm Elise. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Aeroshield Materials, and we are working to manufacture porous glass insulation for energy efficient windows. So what's interesting is that we spend about 80% of our times indoors, and that's actually a statistic before the pandemic, so I'm sure that's gone up since now. But part of what's so important to our indoor spaces is comfort and energy efficiency. So it's kind of crazy to learn that $40 billion is the price tag that we pay for windows in our buildings in the US. And at Aeroshield, we feel like that's just too high. We need better options so people can have affordable solutions for energy efficiency. And we're doing that by taking our material and selling it to existing insulated glass and window manufacturers, so we can produce windows that are more insulating than walls and save homeowners and companies, thousands of dollars and a huge amount of energy efficiency. So 2019 Cleantech opened company, and since then finished up my PhD where this work was started, and spun out the company full time. Are part of the Activate Boston cohort, so another great opportunity for Cleantech that the Cleantech Open definitely helped prepare us for, and are setting up our pilot manufacturing actually in the next few months here. So pretty exciting to come back around to actually making this material. But before we were ready to take on all of this, right, we were just kind of a couple of researchers sitting in the lab going, we have a cool technology, and thinking that that's all we had to develop. And I think, one of the biggest things that Cleantech Open did was took this kind of early ideas of, we're just figuring out primary market research. We were just really figuring out what it meant to be an entrepreneur, and not only on our business development journey, but also personally, right? What did that mean to take on these things? And, who could we talk to that had gone through it before, was going through it? Or, where could we find resources to understand what the clean tech ecosystem was? And all of those questions were answered almost before we even knew they were in need by the Cleantech Open, because it's just such a comprehensive program, and you get mentors, a great blend of new invigorating energy, some that may or may not be applicable to your space, but may also bring a really great outside perspective. You get a great community of peers who you can network with and learn from and leverage, right? Both ways, help each other to make the world a better place. Yeah, and then the biggest piece that definitely surprised me at the value is definitely the community. I mean, the clean tech space it's a great home to be in. I would certainly choose my career here. And I think the Cleantech Open really showed me the greater ecosystem that regardless of what you're working on, there's a space for you in the clean tech. And there's a way to make your dream a possibility with, just enough perseverance. And I think that was definitely something that through the program, we grew stronger, more confident. We also grew more humble because we met so many amazing people that have helped us and continue to help us on our journey. So I'll pause it there, Beth.
Wow, that's a great story, Elise, and congrats on the manufacturing that you're getting into now. That's really exciting. So yeah, so I guess now if anyone has any questions, you don't have to be a startup to ask a question. Anyone who has any questions about what's it like, what's it going to be like this year, feel free to take a moment and turn on your mic and raise your hand, and we do have a few minutes to take whatever questions you might have. Anyone? Don't be shy. We answered all your questions, really? Okay, so all right, so with no questions, I guess, Tally, do you have anybody who has raised their hand to do a pitch?
Yes, I believe we have two.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to suggest is, yeah, for a 1-minute pitch, introduce yourself and your startup, and tell your story and wow us, I guess, is the story there. Go ahead.
All right, so we're going to start with Hydronic Shell Technologies with David Goldstein at the head, and he is based in New York City.
Okay, thank you very much. Starting my 1-minute timer. So buildings account for 40% of global CO2 emissions, so it's obviously a huge area that needs work. And the biggest challenge there is existing buildings. In the year 2050, 90% of the buildings that will be there already exist today, so we need to address existing buildings. Now, if you imagine like an old building built in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, an old brick multifamily building that wastes tons of energy, we have literally tens of thousands of buildings like this across the country. And what our technology does is we wrap these buildings in a super insulated shell, but we also integrate a completely new HVAC system into that shell, so that the end result is we greatly reduce the emissions with an electrified HVAC system We also improve the comfort for the building. There's also ventilation included, which improves indoor air quality. And this works for new construction as well. So it really has potential to disrupt the huge multifamily new construction and retrofit market. And I see I'm out of time. That went really fast.
Wow, thank you very much. Really interesting. Thank you.
Great job, David. So next up, we have Thomas Cryzak at Air and Earth, and they are based out of Almont, New York.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
go ahead.
I'd like to introduce two things. One is called blanket roll technology. This is for ag. It is a biodegradable material made from mycelium, vegetable, and fruit waste. And we can engineer it to last 1 to 10 years. We fill it with absorbents. We capture sediments and pesticides and non-source point runoff, nutrients, so we don't get algae blooms. That's one. That was another one is bubble mechanics technologies. That is columns of fluids, and we raise bubbles through it, and we use piezoelectric energy to collect as the bubbles rise through, and touches a multitude of sensors, rolls over the top, collects water, and there's a turbine collecting, and it's a closed loop, goes around and around. Those were provisionals I filed last year. I currently have written and received 35 patents, and I've done work for the US government, DOE, China, and I'd like to come down and work with you guys.
Cool. Is that, yeah, so I think we may have met last year, if I'm
Yes,
not
we did.
mistaken. Okay, I was going to say you looked familiar. Okay, very cool. Nice
Thank you.
to see you again. Very
Under a minute.
Yep, good job. Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to say, to do a pitch? Are we all set on the pitches? Okay, I guess we're good with the pitches. Tally, do you want to, I guess what we can do, I will show my screen and we can, give me 1 second here. All righty. So we have a, we actually can do a People's Choice Award. We have 2 contestants. So Tally, do you want to set it up for this, and you can explain how this works?
Yes, so it's ready. So if you have a smartphone, or if you just want to go to your Internet Explorer or browser, whatever you use, and all you have to do is type in sli.do, so Slido. And then wherever you end up, it'll say enter code here, and our code is CTO21. So once you're in there, you can vote, and I will be able to see who wins. Thank you both for presenting. It's always fun to have pitches. Looks like some votes are coming in, which is always good. And Katie put in our chat the website if you're struggling to find it. And the website shouldn't make you log in or sign up or anything. You should just be able to vote directly. Give it just a couple more seconds here. So get your last votes in. Everyone can vote, by the way, even if you are a speaker or anything.
But you can only vote once, so we should close it soon so there's no rigging.
I think I have it listed that you can only vote once. All right, looks like we have 18. So if the last 2 people, you can always vote for yourself. All right, and 3, 2, 1. All right. So congratulations to Hydronic Shell Technologies, David Goldstein.
Great.
You are the
Congratulations,
winner.
David.
Thank
That's
you.
cool.
I hope
Very
voting
nice
for
job.
myself 10 times didn't influence it.
That's it. Nice job. So, so we're I'm going to answer a question that came in on the chat, and then we actually have a little bit of time, and we could go into a breakout room and have people get a chance to meet. So, this is a funny time. We used to, when we were able to meet in person, we would have cocktails and hors d'oeuvres, and it was always really very congenial. So we'll try to continue that congeniality for a little bit, and you'll get to meet other folks who are in the meeting. So the question was, how will mentoring, gatherings, et cetera, be handled in light of the pandemic? So the answer to that question is that we will do what we did last year for the foreseeable future, which is that everything will be virtual. So we got pretty good at doing everything virtual last year, and we will continue that this year. And essentially what that means is that the curriculum is virtual anyway. The mentors will work virtually with their startups, which they're not always all in the same place anyway. So that works fine. And then, yeah, everybody's accessible via internet and phone. So that's essentially what we do. And we found that it actually worked better for some people than it had when we were in person. To be honest, it meant that nobody has to travel, and so we were able to get people, some experts from all over, and we were able to get people to participate in things that otherwise would have taken quite a little bit of effort to get to. And so we actually had higher participation rates last year, and we were able to include people from outside of our region for various events too. So different kinds of experts. So I hope that answers your question, Paul. So Tally, would you be able to put us into some random breakout rooms? We'll have a little bit of a chance to chat. My suggestion is, actually, before we do this, we have one more question. But before when we go into the breakout rooms, my suggestion is to introduce yourselves, have a nice chat about how you're connected to Cleantech Open and to the Cleantech innovation world, so to speak. Okay, so Mark is asking, do you host a formal demo day to put your cohort members in front of investors? If so, how many companies raise rounds from the event? Okay, so the answer is yes, and sort of. So the way this works is that at the end of the accelerator, we have our judging on September 28th and 29th. The teams who compete in the finals on the 29th will have been selected on the prior day, and all of those, I should say, six teams are selected to participate and to pitch. And this year we will give away 5 prizes. So it's a little bit of a process of elimination, although it's a little confusing. It may not be the exact same because of the carbon sequestration. We plan to give away 4 general prizes plus a carbon sequestration prize this year. So all 5 of the 5 companies will receive $10,000. And we have an investor connect as well, and that will be most likely will be as part of the global forum. And yes, I would say probably within a year, a large number of our startups will have raised some funding. So I hope that answers your question. So any other questions before we go into the chat rooms, or I should say breakout rooms?
Hey, Beth, I just wanted to make a comment here, about what happened last year with going virtual. I really want to say that, CTO did a great job of, providing, this online platform, through the meetings that you've been hosting through Zoom, and ensuring that there was no disruption, right, in the way the program was run, which was not something easy. You know, a lot of us had to adapt in these, you know, dire circumstances. And there might have been at first maybe apprehension of how are we going to do that? You know, this is a new way of communicating and interacting, but you know, it ended up working out really well. So really kudos to you guys and all the team.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate your comments about that. It was a lot of work. For anyone who knows about Zoom, it is a little bit more work to administer, but it's relatively easy to participate. So, all righty. I think we're ready for our breakout rooms.
Enjoy.
Okay, here we are, back.
You're back.
Hello.
And Ken is here. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually move to show one slide, and then I'm going to put Ken on the spot to say hello in 1 second. But I do want to make sure everybody sees the key link here, which is how to apply. If you haven't seen it yet, it's our bit.ly/CTO2021. Make sure to apply on time. Our application deadline is April 18th. So I am going to stop sharing, and hold on, how do I do that? Something just went awry here. I will stop sharing, and Ken, if you're up for it, I'd love to introduce Ken to say a few words. Ken is our executive director for Cleantech Open National, and he is joining us from Los Angeles, I presume. So go ahead and say a few words, Ken.
Yeah, hi, Beth. Thank you so much. I apologize. I wasn't able to join earlier. Well, you all are running a great program out of the Northeast, and those of you entrepreneurs on the line, you will have a fantastic time working with Beth and her team and the whole NECEC team out of Boston and New York. I bring you greetings, yes, from Los Angeles, although who knows where anybody is these days. We're looking forward to having a cohort of around 100 companies this year. Again, we're doing it all virtually. We did it virtually in 2020, had some of the highest completion rates that we've ever had. So I think we've kind of figured out how to do this. Everybody had a lot of fun, learned a lot. Great alumni have gone on to do great things. So looking forward to getting to know you all, and encourage you to ask questions. Make sure that we can meet your expectations. We want to make sure that you have you know what you're getting into. It's going to be a lot of work, but you're going to get a lot out of it. So thank you for joining today.
Thank you, Ken. And I'm just going to put out one more chance. If there is anybody else who might have joined late and who would like to do a 1-minute pitch, we have about a minute left. So are there any emerging clean tech startups that wanted to say their pitch? Otherwise, if anyone has any questions, feel free to email Tally or ask now. Tally's at tkane@cleantechopen.org.
I put it in the chat, and this will be recorded, so you'll be able to access it. We'll have some information on that later, I'm sure. But if you have any questions or things that we missed or anything at all, feel free to email me.
So, yep, without further ado, I guess no one's raising their hand. So I will say thank you all for joining us, and we can finish on time, which is always, I'm sure, very much appreciated. So I want to thank our speakers, Elise and Sheikh and Sean for stepping up and speaking today as well, and for our startups for getting up the gumption to pitch as well. I know it's not always easy to pitch in front of strangers, but so thank you all. Have a great evening.